Yo, what's going on, guys? Khordmaster here. So I have some updates about my iPad, Mac OS, MacBook Pro, Mac Studio journey. So let's see, where are we right now? So in the back, in my trunk right now, I have the iPad M4 that I've recently purchased, the 13-inch, packed up, and I'm returning it to Costco today. A lot less than my 90-day trial that I was planning on doing with it. This whole thing is kind of coming from a place of me being very deliberate with what what I have, what I own, what's in my space, that I don't actually need. And so I'm being very, very deliberate with like starting to sell a lot of stuff. If you're interested in any of my music gear that you may have seen on my channel, feel free to DM me on Instagram or I guess drop a comment below. But I'm selling a lot. I'm planning to sell a lot of the equipment there that is just not needed at this exact moment in time. But going back to where we're at with this iPad, so I was using the 13-inch iPad standalone as my main computing device. I have a MacBook Pro that I didn't purchase with my own money, but got through a sponsorship to create content, and I created said content with it. And once I got that, I was kind of like, all right, well, now I'm team MacBook. Like, this is my new thing now, right? So I'm going to use this for my video editing one way or another. I'm going to use this for my primary way of making music, etc., etc. What ended up happening is I missed the touch aspect of things. I wasn't using my iPad mini at that time. I kind of had it at home on like my piano rest, and kind of using it for sheet music and Zoom and things like that. So I was kind of missing the iPad world. So I thought to myself, like, okay, let me think about selling this MacBook Pro, because I don't think I really need it, right? I think what I actually want is a larger screen iPad Pro again, to take the place of the MacBook Pro and my iPad mini. So that was my thought. So I used it. I've been using it for a while, and I really, really, really enjoyed certain aspects of the keyboard with the screen and the stylus. But my current thought is as follows. So having the iPad mini, and I don't know if I'm overthinking things, but this is kind of what this is all about, right? Like, it's just kind of going with the flow. It feels right, what I think is the right thing to do, etc. So there were two things that I noticed. One of them is that the Magic Keyboard for $400, I think it's about $400, or maybe it's $340 or something, still left a lot to be desired. It only allowed me to be able to type on the iPad, right? It didn't have the added functionality of additional ports, of a headphone jack. Even the USB-C port on that thing is only for charging. So even at the bare minimum, if that USB-C port on there was for data, Thunderbolt, as well as the one on the iPad, and you have now two, if you use it, like, that would even be something that's valuable for me personally. But I kind of realized that it's not really worth it. The $400 for the convenience is not really worth it just to be able to type on an iPad, especially considering the fact that I have a MacBook Pro already, right? So that's one thing that I thought, and I also talked about it in a previous video. I just did not like the way that the ergonomics, the limited ergonomics of the Magic Keyboard. Like, for me, I like being able to type and then do some stylus stuff or touch stuff. I wanted to be able to go from typing mode to like writing on a slight angle on my desk or something quickly, but I have to take the whole thing off, close the keyboard, and then put it on. It was just it wasn't great. It wasn't a great experience. So that was the first thing. The second thing is I have an Apple Pencil already with my iPad mini, and the updates to the Apple Pencil, haptic feedback and press to hold, don't really matter to me, as I've learned. And even, I mean, the I guess the Find My thing is pretty good, I guess, but they don't really matter to me. And I didn't need it. The barrel roll thing, I'm not an artist like that. It wasn't necessary if I already have the other Apple Pencil. So I say all that to say, I also had an experience with I brought my MacBook Pro. I kind of put it away for those few weeks when I was just using the iPad, but I brought my MacBook Pro up yesterday and connected it to this very camera that I'm using, which is the DJI Pocket 3, with this wireless mic clipped on me. and I was using Ecamm Live. Shout out to Ecamm. They're amazing. Love that platform so very much. It just makes live streaming and content creation on a Mac just seamless. So I was just doing like a little live stream setup test with this, and I was just reminded of, oh, that's kind of why I could really, really use a MacBook Pro, is those live stream setups. It's so much better to live stream with the MacBook Pro, as I've learned. And I'm still figuring out a few other things, like how to get audio through my voice and through whatever it is that I'm doing with my OPZ or OP1 or Ableton or whatever. Like, I'm still figuring out a few nuances with that, which I'm very, very confident I'll be able to figure out. But that is one of the reasons why you can't really, from my understanding, you can't really do the live streaming the way that I would like to on an iPad. It's like very limited compared to the Mac. So that was one reason why I was like, all right, well, maybe I should, hang on to the Mac, and not sell it. Because I was able to get, I think I paid $2,400 for the MacBook Pro. And I think through this website called It's Worth More, I was able to get $1,575. So it's like, all right, that's a lot of money, right? I could have sent that, their way, got the money, and then put that money towards the iPad Pro and did that. But it didn't feel right. Like, I'm missing out on a significant amount of money. The MacBook is barely used, really barely used. And I just felt like that wasn't the right move. So long and short, I have the iPad mini up for sale for $650 on Facebook Marketplace with the pencil originally and the case, the Smart Folio. Been negotiating with someone was, lowballing, but that's fine, right? They do their thing, try to get a good deal. And then this morning I was like, well, wait a second. What I think makes a lot of sense for me is getting as much value as I can for the iPad mini, because one thing I didn't mention in this video is I'm not a fan of the iPad mini personally. A lot of people love it. A lot of people love the size. I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And a lot of the stuff that I do in the Mini, I can and sometimes even prefer doing on the Pro Max, honestly. So for me, it didn't make as much sense. Like, I don't like doing things on the iPad Mini compared to a larger screen. So I think as of today, the plan will be to return that to Costco, because that's definitely going to happen, for a few reasons. Because I do see in the future / near future getting another iPad Pro, whether it's an M2 for a great deal somewhere, which, maybe like $600. I've seen some like for brand new, actually. As a matter of fact, I might follow up with it today, but there's like an M2 11-inch, 256 gig, like something like that. It makes a ton of sense, I think. So I'm going to do a little bit of research and kind of not rush into anything, but kind of be like, all right, let me find a good deal. That's one area that I can see myself going to, the 11-inch, and still rocking with my MacBook Pro and keeping that for certain things and having both, and no longer having the keyboard because I don't need it anymore, and use my old stylus, like my old Apple Pencil. That's something that could work. Alternatively, if I decide, I can't expect a sale for it, but if I decide to go to back to the M4, and I'm deciding to, at this point, to more than likely keep the MacBook Pro and utilize it, then I would get the 11-inch of the new M4, and again, no new Apple Pencil, probably use my existing one with it because it works fine, it's no issues, and again, no keyboard, and then have both of them. And maybe some days when I go out, maybe some days it's an iPad day, maybe some days it's a MacBook day, and kind of figure out the cadence that makes sense. The other thing I want to mention about the MacBook: video editing and music. So I've come to learn that at this point, video editing it doesn't make sense for me to do video editing on the MacBook. Like, it's not, I'd rather do it, I talked about it in another video, but I'd rather do it on my phone and cast it, AirPlay it to the screen of the MacBook. Sorry, I'm expecting a call in a couple minutes. Let's get my phone out. And so, yeah, so that is the first piece. Also, this is like super bright. Oh, let's bring this in a little bit. Oh, maybe we'll close this. I think it's like so much light coming in from the top there. All right. So that's the first piece. And then the other piece is Ableton. So I'm still learning Ableton. I haven't been having as much fun making songs from scratch in Ableton. But one area, as I'm starting to get into this whole like create more, make more music and finish more music, is when I'm going to be using my iPad mini for now, until I decide to get one of the pros, like I just mentioned, the M2 or M4. But when I am making music in my preferred way of making music on Chord Gadget or in Koala Sampler, there are very easy ways to move those ideas or those songs to Ableton. They both have export, as well as Ableton Note on my phone if I'm getting musical ideas. So the point I'm trying to make is that I could still do my music on the iPad for the most part and send it to Ableton and like really dive into that workflow and be like, all right, well, anything that's like a scratch pad idea, whatever, on one of these two other apps on the iPad, they are, little by little, like, be deliberate with it. Like, oh, this sounds cool. Let me send this to Ableton. Let me finalize this and finish it. And then, I don't know, remove it from Chord Gadget or something. Maybe like back it up or something, right? So I don't have it on the app anymore because the song is done. The song is done in Ableton, and use Omnisphere and use Knock and use these other things in Ableton that I've been exploring. And so maybe that works for me. Maybe Ableton is not the place to start ideas, but it's a place to finish ideas, right? And that's where it's at for me. So I'm excited. I'm excited to kind of get this going, and I appreciate you guys listening, and hope you have a great rest of your day today. And we'll talk to you soon. I'm just like looking at the clock. I'm like, I know this call's coming any minute now, so I got to like wrap the video up. But yes, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. All right, peace.